Hello and welcome to the England Korfball Grand Finals weekend, coming to you from one of the most iconic Olympic venues from London 2012, the Korfball Arena. Welcome to the England Korfball Grand Finals, coming to you from one of the most iconic Olympic venues from London 2012, the Korfball Arena. I'm here to see my sport, Korfball, played in like it's never been played before in an incredible venue. My name's Tom Brady. I'm with England International and my co-host, Jess Davies. Hello and welcome to the England Korfball Grand Finals weekends, coming to you from one of the most iconic Olympic venues from London 2012, the Korfball Arena. My name's Tom Brady and I'm here with my co-host Jess Davies, and we're going to try and explain this wonderful sport to you in a way that's hopefully going to be entertaining and delightful. Jess, this is a great occasion for Korfball, a great occasion for sport. What are you looking forward to?
It's incredible. It's fantastic that we're here. I looked it up earlier. The Korfball is the third largest arena in London. The fact that Korfball is here, the fact that Korfball's going out live on the BBC, it's brilliant. It's exactly where our sport is going to. It's where we deserve to be. People should know about this sport because it is fantastic.
And we're going out on the BBC, which is going to give everybody a chance to see this. We're joined by Steph Watson, who 7-time winner of this league, England player, taking a little bit of a break at the moment. Yeah. Happy to have you with us.
Great.
Steph, let's just talk about, put this in the context of Korfball. I mean, we've been playing leagues for 60 years, but we've never had anything like this before. I mean, you played here last year. What's it like?
I mean, the atmosphere, obviously, in such a big arena is really intense. This is sold out actually tomorrow, 2,000 spectators today. To be playing in it is going to be a really great atmosphere for the players. The Copper Box in itself is, a really exciting prospect for the players out there. It's a massive venue and a really exciting prospect for Korfball going forward.
So, Korfball is played in 60 countries. It's been here in England for 40 years or so, but a lot of our viewers probably haven't seen it so much and so often, and we're going to do our best in the studio, on commentary, to bring 3 fantastic games to people this weekend. Jess, which teams are you looking forward to seeing?
This first semi-final that is about to start behind us, Trojans versus Tornadoes. Trojans, I mean, what can we say?
So it's like the club's 50 years old or so. They've won for the last 11 years. For people looking from the outside, that may seem a little bit strange. How can one team? But it's always been so close. Golden goal, 1 goal. 3 goals down last year with 3 minutes to go. They still managed to pull it out of the bag. Steph, you've been a big part of that success. What's made Trojans so good?
Well, they've got a huge amount of international experience, the players, but also they are a hugely talented squad. A lot of them playing for many, many years, racking up tens of thousands of hours into their squad. And on the big stage, they've been winning the medals. They've got lots of bronze medals at Europe level, and obviously they're 11 times national champions. So this will make it the 12th if they make it this year.
So if you are only watching your first game of Korfball, this is a great one for you to watch, because they're up against a young team, probably only been going 10 years or so, and they grew these kids from 5 or 6 years old, and they've hothoused them to this event, to this game, to try and take on the mighty Trojans. Now, they had a go last year, which was great, wasn't it? And no, they were the ones that are 3 goals up with 3 minutes to go. They just fell short. How did they fall short last year, Jess? What was the difference?
I think Trojans' experience just saw them see the game out. Tornadoes, they have been only going for 15 years. They are an offshoot from an already successful club. So they haven't quite got the big game experience. They have got a lot of youth in their team. We're talking people that are still under 19 years of age, who are now proving themselves on the under-19 circuit. So now they're going to come here, play in this big arena. They did it last year. They were so close. It's just whether they can go that extra step today.
But I think the experience that group has got from playing under 15s, under 17s, under 19s, all around the world, all around Europe, it's got to count for something, hasn't it?
And just like Trojans, they've stayed together as a core group of players. It hasn't been a lot of player movement around that. They're a solid team and they know each other so well.
So Steph, like talking about someone that hasn't seen Korfball before, they're watching their first game. What should they look for to see the subtlety and see the art and see the skill that these players, these athletes are developing and putting into the game?
I mean, the first thing I'd probably say that they're going to see today, given the teams that are playing behind us, is they're going to see some wow moments. The goals are going to come from the sideline, the halfway line, the back of the court, and that is the talent and athleticism of the strength and power these players have to shoot from those sorts of distances. And it will come from the men, it will come from the women, and you're going to see some great creativity, and that will be right on display. And especially with a young team like Tornadoes, they're going to be right out there with their creative play, and that will be really great for the spectator watching it for the first time.
And so we'll explain it on commentary, so everyone will have a chance to understand just exactly what's going on in there. But look for, as Steph said, dynamic shots on the outside, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meters on the move, jumping back, high arcing shot into a court which is much higher than a basketball court, ring, no backboard. But for me, it's the driving forward goals,
exactly,
where they drive around their player, get on the inside, take that shot. Which players would you look out for? Tell the audience to say, look out for that boy or that girl.
For me, in the Tornadoes team, very much keep an eye on Shane Buckland. He is a youth international coming up. He's got the pedigree. Both his parents have played both abroad and in this country. They've played for England, they've played abroad. So he's definitely one to watch, really dynamic. Last year, Owen Bailey, another boy from the Tornadoes team, had a fantastic game on the inside, really creating some amazing chances. So those two boys are going to be great. But let's not forget the girls. You know, we've got some really strong women out there today. Amy Turner from Trojans, she's fantastic driving at players.
We're going to talk about a lot of her on her commentary, because she drives in so fast, so aggressive, really hard to stop. We should just mention that there's 4 boys and 4 girls in each team, and the boys plays against boys, girls plays against girls, and it works, doesn't it? The game just works this way.
Yeah.
It's integrated for over 100 years. That's the way the sport was designed. That's the way it works.
And it just allows the athleticism of every gender to be shown right to the forefront. You know, whether you're a tall girl like me or whether you're a short, sharp and nippy and you're getting in around your player, there's every position available, and you'll see that there's a real mix of athleticism out there, whether it's Dave Brooks with the big muscles or whether it's going to be someone like Amy who's really fast, and she will get those goals under the post, and that is what you're going to see today.
You're particularly going to see that in the next semi-final. If you come back and join us later, you'll see that we've got some massive players and we've got some very short players, but it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
And I like what Steph said, look out for wow moments, because there are going to be lots of them from lots of these talented athletes. It's a semi-final. They've trained all year for this, and they're fighting through for a place in the final on the BBC again tomorrow. And now we're going to cheat. We're just going to cut across to our pitchside reporter, Adam Wade, who's going to try and sample some of the atmosphere down there.
Hey Tom, thanks. I'm here with Lucas and Katie, who are at their first Korfball tournament today. Who are you guys supporting?
We are supporting the Tornadoes.
Awesome. And are you looking forward to seeing the excitement of this game? How's the day been for you so far?
Yeah, it's been really good fun. It's like you said, it's our first Korfball introduction, and it's been good fun. Yeah. Really
amazing. Thank you. And over here we've got Ricardo. Ricardo, who are you supporting in this game? What are you looking forward to?
Trojans, definitely. London band. So yeah, have to be them.
Awesome. Now we're going to get on with some player stories. So let's see what the players have said.
Okay, and I'm joined with 2 more players who are actually married. So tell me a little bit about yourselves and who you play for.
So I'm Catherine Brooks. I played for Trojans. I've been at Trojans, since the year dot. I've been playing Korfball since the age of 9. I'm now 29, so I've had a solid 20 years of the game.
My name's Sam Brooks. I've been playing Trojans as well. My family originally came from Warningham Korfball Club, but ever since I've been playing, which is about 20 plus years, it's always been Trojans.
So you got into Korfball through your family. So Catherine, how did you get into Korfball?
The same thing. So both my mum and dad played at Trojans, and then me and Sam obviously both met as well through Trojans as well. It's a very big family club. So we played in the same section before we became an item and then got married.
Fabulous. And what is it about Korfball that attracted you to the sport as opposed to, say, basketball or netball?
So I play netball as well, so I do netball and Korfball together, but to be honest, I do prefer playing Korfball, but netball, must be said. It's just much more fast anticipated game. There's a lot more movement. It's good that it's mixed, that it's girls and boys. It's nice that we can do, it's something that we can do together. And obviously my sister plays as well, his brothers play, all my friends. It's very family orientated and friendly orientated.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, family orientated. I mean, my cousins play it as well for our. So it's not just obviously my immediate family. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. Friends and family, really. That's kind of what it is, and that's where why we've been playing it for so long. Why we enjoy it, really.
Yeah, it's a big social. Like, it's never an effort to think, oh God, we've got to turn up to go to training, or oh God, we've got to play again. It's always an enjoyment to put on your Trojan shirt, turn up to, whether that's to play or to turn up to training.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, both. And I'm joined in the studio with a player from Tornadoes. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been playing.
My name's Owen. I've been playing for near on 10 years now. Started at a club called Bearsted, who are currently playing behind us. Cheering them on as well. Still my boyhood club. But I grew up playing for Bearsted. Kevin Long brought a lot of youngsters into the club. Unfortunately, they've spread out throughout several clubs now. And it's a shame to see that, because they could be a force in the league currently, but the best players have spread out, and yeah,
massively. That's actually exactly how I got into the sport as well. So what is it about Korfball that attracts you to it? Why do you not go and play football or basketball? Why is it you keep coming back to Korfball?
I used to play football growing up, but Korfball generally took over. It's a lot smaller than football to play, but the social side and the ease of the international, getting onto the international scene was a big draw to it. Although it's all self-funded, it was still entertaining going away to Holland, Germany, Belgium, and then slowly breaking into the senior squad, where you get to go further afield and play against bigger and better countries.
And lastly, how often do you train? How much of a commitment is it, and is it enjoyable?
I really enjoy it. To keep playing for the last 10 years or so, I must be enjoying it. But we train twice a week, play once a week. We like to have little breaks here and there, because you don't want to be burnt out from the sport. Keeps you interested still. But when we are having a break, we still do things socially as a club.
Yeah.
You get lots of social friends throughout the sport in other clubs as well.
Yeah.
Who you do things with, and yeah, it's just a great sport to be involved in.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Owen.
Thank you.
Dave Brooks, captain.
Okay,
and
so
we're just waiting for the players just to finish the last of the warm-up. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Jess Davies. Give us a chance to talk through your stellar history. You're a current player for England, and you're a coach of Wales now.
I am. It's a really exciting time to be involved in Korfball. There's so many different opportunities, and like you say, personally, I've been playing for 20 years now, which seems ridiculous, but that time has flown. And even in that short amount of time, if I think back to how I've seen Korfball develop and change, it's incredible. You know, if you can see the visuals now of the pitch, you can see that we used to have wicker posts. You know, the basket was literally made from a wicker woven material, which occasionally would splinter and fall down into your eye if you were looking up underneath it. Whereas now we've got this, you know, it's very streamlined, it's very simple, it's very clean. It's a beautiful thing to watch, this sport, and I think people are really going to enjoy what they're about to see.
And I'm really excited to present Korfball to a lot of people. It's a little bit difficult for people to understand straight off, because we do have some nuances which separate our sports from other sports. But you're with two really, really enthusiastic people who are going to do our best to try and bring this game alive to you. Just as we see the players are leaving the pitch now, getting ready to come on. Really spectacular looking entrance that they're building up over there, Jess.
Oh, it's fantastic. We were here last year, but we've taken it one step further. This entrance that they were constructing last night, we saw it going up.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The fireworks show that we're about to see is really something quite spectacular.
Yeah. So
it's an added element for the players as well. I mean, imagine getting to run out onto this. You know, yes, they're nervous because this is the pinnacle of their season. This is what they've been working for. This is why they play the sport. But equally, you know, in an arena like this, in front of 2,000 people, you want to look good. You want to impress. You want to make sure you're playing your best. And when you can do it, running out to your name, and you know, but everyone can get involved in this. You know, this could be somebody who's listening now, somebody who hasn't played Korfball before.
You know, they could be playing games next week, and in maybe 5 years' time can make it to a final like this, or be there or thereabouts. Korfball's played all around England and Scotland and Wales. And we're a very welcoming sport. We like to bring people on. We realise that people, when they first start, they don't know the rules. It doesn't matter. Really, at the heart of it is shooting. Putting the ball in that basket, and I know you can't see it on your screen at the moment, but we'll talk about the Korf and the basket. It's 3.5 meters high, which is 45 centimeters higher than a basketball ring. It makes it difficult to shoot into. And one of the things that really separates us is the ability to go behind the back of the Korf into the back of the post, and it makes all the tactics 360 degrees. And you'll see when teams playing well, play switching from one side of the pitch to the other, and it's going to be about the combinations and the way that players come together that are going to make a big difference.
Yeah, that's totally right. So when people are playing basketball, they'll see some similar moves to that, and similarly to netball. But what really makes Korfball different, other than the gender equality that we are experiencing, is this 360-degree attacking that everyone has to be able to play all around the post, and everyone has to be able to attack, everybody has to be able to defend.
And you said it earlier on, it's a great time to be playing Korfball at the moment, because the sport is emerging. And that's not just through the technical improvement of the post and the pitch and the other things that we're doing. The players are taking it on themselves to be more athletic. They're training harder nowadays than in my day. I know you're training very hard still nowadays, Jess. Look for quick, speedy moves. You're going to see big players and little players. What's the difference strategically choosing a big player over a little player in a game like this, Jess? Give us your experience.
Well, both players have a role, for sure. So the idea is you will have 25 seconds to shoot. A lot of sports have a shot clock, and that's similar to Korfball. Typically, you'll send your big players under the post so that you can try and retain that ball, try and keep your attack going so that you can have more shots, score more goals, and win the game. The small players, now they are the ones who you need to be watching, because actually, most sports, the smaller players get overlooked. Yeah. They're not the ones that you need to be looking out for. It's the big players. In Korfball, small players are really dynamic, really dangerous.
And really, it's good to be a tall player, as I was, but it's about speed. And you're going to see raw speed, raw foot speed on the ground, sprinting, turning, jumping, and that for me is what makes it very exceptional. And we just see Dave Brooks, the legend, leading his team out here as the sparklers go up and as the crowd go wild, and welcoming the Trojans team, and they're in a black and blue combination. And we'll just let you see the players coming on.
So David Brooks is one of those players that we were just describing. He's a big guy, he's tall, but he really has. And again, this is how the sport has developed. I think he wouldn't mind me saying he used to be a bigger guy.
Yeah, he's still quite big.
Yeah, well, yeah, but for the last few seasons, he's really taken it upon himself to trim down so that he can compete, not only around the basket and being physical, because let's remember, it's controlled contact. Yeah. So you will see people running into each other, but it's done in a controlled way, and if it's out of control, the referee will deem it and he will stop the play.
Yeah, but I'll just highlight, you're going to see a lot more contact around the post, which is very good, it's very exciting, and we love it when it happens. But most of Korfball is played on the outside with fluid play, moving the ball around, and once again shooting into that 3.5 metre high Korf. It is difficult to score in. I'm not going to ask you for a prediction, Jess, but roughly in the next 60 minutes, how many games are we going to see here? How many goals are we going to see in this game?
I think typically, if we're hoping for a real nail-biter, typically we can expect upwards of 40 goals maybe. If it's a really end-to-end game, we could see up to 50. But again, it depends how they're going to set the tone. Are the teams going to try and hold back, try and eke out a long victory? It'll be really interesting to see how quickly the teams turn over the goals.
And it's nice to see Tornadoes in the lighter blue. They've got some mascots with them, which is great.
And these mascots will be people that play as well. So let's not forget that Korfball isn't just a senior sport. It's all the age groups, under 9, under 11, 13, 16, 19, 21, 23, seniors. Everyone can play.
And we've just seen the Under 11 Championship played out here in the hall, which was very, very exciting. Very well received by everyone. And congratulations to all the young athletes that played in that. And the crowd announcer just geeing up everybody, getting ready for this big semi-final clash.
From the sounds of it, I don't know if you can hear this on the feed, but from the sounds of it in the studio, it sounds as though the Tornadoes fans are in really good voice, which is what we need. We need the crowd to lift this game and to keep the players going.
All right, looks like Tony Woodvine for Trojans. So Trojans club from Croydon, and they're the ones that are starting with the ball. And you'll see in this division there are 2 guys, 2 girls attacking, and 2 guys and 2 girls defending. Now we do call them boys and girls, or guys and girls, but generally boys and girls is just a tradition in the sport. But they obviously are men and women. And Tony Woodvine just waiting in for the referee's whistle to bring this in. So first of all, let's look at the movement and the footwork that they've got. And first of all, you're going to notice that it's a lot more flowing. It's going to be a lot more flowing than you're going to see, let's say, in netball, which is also a very, very good sport. And Tony looking to make a combination with Neela at the basket. Trojans still retain it. And there's our first shot from Neela Breland. And that's where we see that retention and that collection at the post makes a really big difference. Good drive from Tony.
Penalty called early for holding off. So the idea is that the defenders, the ones in the light blue, they're going to try and stay between their player and the post, and they're going to try and block the ball. If you're close enough to touch someone, you've got your arm in the air, you're trying to block the ball, it'll be deemed defended. And even if they shoot and score, it won't count, which is different to basketball, to netball. You can stop a shot.
And the loss of a scoring opportunity there gave us a penalty, which is taken from 2.5 metres. Traditionally taken underhanded. We find that's a little bit easier, but you might see occasionally someone shoot overhanded. And Shane Buckland levels for Tornadoes. He was the one that you pointed out is going to be one of the danger boys or girls from Tornadoes. He started well, 1 shot, 1 goal.
And as you can see, the shooting technique, so it does differ from netball. Netball is a very static shot, whereas in korfball, you're always moving. You've got to try and get away from your player. That's a beautiful move there from Amy Turner.
Amy Turner sitting on the outside. And really, that's what I like about korfball. The boys play against boys, the girls play against girls, but each girl or boy has their own personalities, their own flavour, their own type of shots that they want to see, and that's an interception from Trojans. And then once you intercept and defence, you've got as much time as you want to bring it out within reason. The referee will call time wasting. But once the ball is in attack, you've got 25 seconds to hit the Korf. And that's an innovation we brought in the last 10 years. And it's made such a massive difference to the speed of the sport. So as the person takes possession, as Owen Bailey takes it there, they've got 25 seconds to hit this Korf. Now most players and most teams will probably shoot their first shot around 7 or 8. And that's going to give them enough time to get 1 or 2 more in, but then it hasn't touched the Korf, so shot clock's still live at 12. Second shot from Ashley Warner, decent, good contest at the post, but it's come down to Aisha, and well picked up by Hannah Goodridge.
And already you'll notice the balance of male shots to female shots. Males don't always have to fill a certain role, females don't always have to fill a certain role. Yeah. It's very fluid, it's very dynamic.
And Sam Brooks for Trojans. Nice shot on the outside, under a lot of pressure. Well picked up by Johnny Nickerson, and he just shoves him. And Shane Buckland thought he got shoved into. This is a difficult decision for the referee to call. You can see that Johnny Nickerson's trying to go forward.
Yeah,
Shane's kind of falling over. And that's the one that we're just going to have to trust our referee, is that Adam Dibble. We're going to just have to trust him on that one. But it's allowed Trojans to go out to a 3-1 lead. Not a big deal at the moment, AJ. So it's still early days. They're still just finding their feet and each other's hands. That's a nice step in. Is that Cattle? Very nice. A lot of pressure from Sam Brooks. Good movement. And so it's this retention and then a recycle around for a second shot, which will determine in many ways the winner. That along with shot percentage, and that's a shame to see that one missed.
And so this is what both teams do so well. You'll notice their ball handling skills, they make it look so easy, but actually they're working really hard. Passing the ball at such speed is a tricky thing to master, but they've been doing it all their lives.
I think one of the things that people coming from other sport, nice step from Neela Bread, and he's poor defender, which is a bit of a shame, but that was a nice move. I think one of the things that people transferring to the sport find difficult is that quite often you see just a Shane Buckland there catching it one hand, because that allows you to stay square to the court. Oh, Shane Buckland gets round, flips it off, just improves his position with the 1-2, jumps it in with a one-handed basketball shot.
Great composure from Zach Catterall.
Fantastic composure from Zach Catterall.
I'm one of those players that always says, always take the first shot. Never turn the first shot down, but actually he was able to compose himself and finish it off.
And I hope you noticed the way he improved his position. Didn't just take the first shot available to him. He knew his player wasn't going to get back, and that's more space that Neela Brennan has earned for herself. And look out for her, Nila Brennan, number 6, just running into defence now. That's a beautiful extension that she's got on her shot. She's not just a shooter, she passes really well and reads the game like virtually no one else on this pitch.
Yeah.
Ashley Warner, decent shot, well picked up by Dave Brooks. So these two teams met in exactly the same game last year, and it was very, very close with Tornadoes in the light blue, let me remind you, leading by 3 with 3 minutes to go, but Trojans seem to have found a way in the last 11 seasons, now 12 seasons, where they will come back under any extreme pressure. They will play until exactly the 60th minute, and they will keep their heads and cool, and if you cannot play that full 60 minutes with them, you are going to lose. So let's see what Tornadoes learned from that last year. And Catherine Goodrich got free, and looks like the ball was fouled on the way back, and yes, looks like she just got a little tickle, tried the one-handed shot, didn't go in, doesn't matter, got fouled on the way through, affected the scoring chance. We see a penalty, and we hope to see maybe 90% of those penalties scored today. They are missable, as we will definitely see like sometime in this game, and it does add a lot of psychological pressure when you do miss them, but it's easier than a basketball layup shot because you're closer and you're in movement as you take it. Nice ball from Sam Brooks. You see the ball flowing from one side of the Korf to the other. Now the Korf is a Dutch word for basket, so technically it's that yellow bit that's standing on the top of the pole, but we probably call it the post, or we call it the Korf. And the only other lines on it are then we'll point out the free pass zone and the penalty zone. We'll talk through a little bit more about those as the game progresses. But it started well, Jess. I'm really enjoying this.
Yes, it's really end to end. You'll notice that a lot of teams tend to set up. That's a lovely shot.
Oh, and Bailey against the legend Dave Brooks.
Now that matchup is going to be really. If you want to watch how to play korfball, maybe watch those two, because.
And that's a classical korfball goal on the outside. Dave Brooks trying his hardest to get out as far as possible, and then he answers, because that's exactly what he does, and that is the fantastic player that he is. So you can see that already the pattern establishing on the outside. You establish your 7-meter shot, you establish your 8-meter shot. Oh, that's a great drive in, and then it allows you to go in a little bit earlier, more on the inside, just as Tornadoes look to do there. Penalty given against Amy Turner. She didn't look happy about it, but everybody gets on with it. Oh my, so I told you we're going to see one missed. I didn't think it would be quite as close as that. Is it just bobbles off the top and comes out? And it doesn't matter because the ball's come out to Zach Catchell. This game's getting hot, Jess.
Yeah, this is exactly what we wanted. And it's quite similar to what we saw last year between these two teams.
And yeah, that was definitely a charge. So if we look at the defensive position of the Tornadoes player, there we won't see a replay of that, I don't think. So the defending, there's two different styles to defend. Well, you can try and block the ball, stop your opponent getting the ball, but that's very, very difficult. But when they do get the ball, you want to be in a really good line between them and the post to stop them driving forward and getting any closer, and then get ready to try and block that ball as they do shoot.
And you'll notice the kind of structures that people take up when they're in attack. So generally, one of your attacking players will go to the post, and they will stand there so that when you take a shot, they can try and collect that ball. Well, sometimes we call it rebound, sometimes we call it the collect position, just so that you can try and retain the ball after you've taken a shot. Typically, somebody else might then, like Sam's doing just now, he has the ball close to the post, but facing outwards. That's to try and exploit the fact that your defenders, they have to stay between you and the post, so they have to face you at all times. Now, if there's somebody directly behind them with the ball, it makes it hard for them to know where the ball is, how close can they go, because people can run. You've got, like you do in netball, you've got up to 2 steps to take once you receive the ball.
Perhaps a little bit more fluid than netball, because we can lift that foot afterwards. If you catch the ball in motion, you get these 2 steps, and the very best players use it to a great extent. Oh, lovely little turnaround, a little backhanded feed into Aisha. She's complaining for a penalty, doesn't get it. Lovely, fantastic, subtle move, and so hopefully you're starting to see that this is a game of speed, a game of skill, a game of nuance rather than necessarily strength. But there is these tactical structures that you will hopefully come to know before the end of the game. You can see where you get one player in the collect, one player, what I call it, in the feed, where they're facing out and they're that is the great position to draw penalties like this. Loss of a scoring chance. Oh, and Johnny Nicholson misses one for Trojans.
But he will get to take it again. An infringement there on the penalty. I'm assuming somebody stepped into the zone that's marked too soon before the ball had been released from Johnny's hands.
Which is criminal, but this happened to Johnny last year, and he missed the second one again.
He missed 3 in a row, but he's not going to do that now.
Score it this one. I'll tell you what, he was looking to get that second chance, and I'm really glad for him that he's gone in. Because as I said earlier on, it really psychologically eats at you to miss these penalties because they are such a really, really like a 90% chance. Over 90% of them are scored. So when they get missed, they add a lot of great momentum to the opposite team.
It's a free shot, a goal. So yeah, really, you know, you can't turn those down. You've got to be putting those away.
Amy Turner on the outside. So we've got the 2 boys on the inside, and they're working for the girls because this end down here for Trojans, in the black and the blue again, they are like 2 of the best attacking girls like in the whole of the country, and they've been doing it for years together. And probably the way they're set up, those boys aren't the strongest attackers. It's for those girls, and that's the great coaching decisions that get made, where you pick out your player, then you pick out your style of attack for it. That's a nice shot from Aisha. Well picked up. Owen Bailey turns. He's already scored 1 against Dave Brooks. Dave Brooks trying to force out a little bit. Did he touch him afterwards? So if you touch someone after the shot, referee generally doesn't like it. He's going to give what we call a free pass.
And it's just a restart.
This is just a restart, so I'll talk free pass when we see one. A restart is just, well, if the ref sees an infringement and it's not if it's not designed by the defence to disrupt, then he might not give a free pass. That's just a restart.
It's that young man with the ball there. That's Daniel Lang. He's actually a Hungarian international. I believe he's 20 years of age, and I think he's only come across for this season so far. I don't know if he's planning on sticking around, but it's great that, again, you know, it's not just all English people on the pitch. We have an Irish international potentially 2 Irish internationals on the pitch. A lot of England.
So let me explain that symbol from the referee, the crossed arms, and that's what we call cutting. And that occurs when you run your player, your individual opponent, into somebody else. And what that means is it's just too easy to get clear. And then we're having another penalty as Catherine Brooks drives in and gets the foul from number 2 from Tornadoes. So a basketball screen, we disallow it. It's too easy. It doesn't fit within the style of the sport. So you have to beat your player with the support of your teammates, giving you the ball back and the timing of that. But really, it's not about cutting into somebody else. And if the referee sees it and you shoot, he's just going to give the ball to the other end. So we try and keep our attacking moves clean and clear. For me, it's what makes it very attractive to see players attacking towards the inside. Johnny tucks that away nicely.
So Trojans are doing what they do best. They're leading the game by 4. But let's not forget that Tornadoes are a very experienced side as well. They're not going to be flustered at this stage. We've only been playing for about 13 minutes of playing time. It is a long match. It's 2 halves of 30 minutes. So we can expect to see the goals racking up, and possibly even a change of the leader throughout the match. It's a lovely turn in the field position
from Shane Buckland. So you can see that, so he's not defended because he's moved away from his player. And if we see it on replay there, like Johnny's miles away, and that's never ever going to be defended. Very clever from Shane, very skillful, nice shot.
Remember,
nice
defended, you must be close enough to touch them while actively trying to block the ball.
Nice ball combination between the boys. He gets it back, Dave Brooks.
And this is what these two boys down this end, that's what they're so good at. Number 8 for Trojans and number 7. They've played together for years.
And they're famous for it in Korfball. And there's Dave just gets his player off balance, stands back upright himself, and now he drives on the inside. And you can see Owen Bailey, number 10. He's going to go out as far as he can because Dave is such a great shooter, one of the best in the league. But Owen's got more pace than him. And so if he can keep driving out, he might be able to restrict Dave. Dave will still score some goals. Zach Cattrall, decent shot, well picked up by Buckland.
So occasionally you might also see players turning down shots when they have evaded their defender. Now that typically might be a tactical thing. It might be they haven't elapsed enough time with the shot clock to maybe try and influence the possession and the momentum of the game. It might be a case that they've seen where the rest of the players in their division are, and they might not have, again, this collect position that we spoke about. So the chances are that if they took the shot, if they were to miss, and again, Zach then was quite far away from the basket, so if he had missed the shot, chances are that all the defenders, if they're post side, they're all going to be closer to the ball, so they would pick the ball off. So maybe he just turned down that shot. Because
and as you know yourself, Jess, a lot of it is about rhythm. We all like the ball coming onto us when we're shooting. If we stand and hold it for a second, we lose a little bit of rhythm. The defenders tend to collapse and see the post better than us. So then we're going to move the ball again, because what the goal of attacking well is to get the defenders looking away from everybody else. If you can get your defenders just focused on the one player, then you're going to collect more. You can then do all the other things tactically within the court that you want. There was a timeout. I'm not quite sure which team called it. I'm assuming it was Tornadoes.
I think it was Tornadoes, yeah.
Just to have a little bit of a chat. So it was a minute little chat they had there.
Try and pick themselves back up. They're only 3 down, and at this stage in the game, that's not a great margin at all.
Yeah. Oh, nice, Dave Brooks. Oh, Tony on the inside. And so Daniel Lang from Hungary just caught out of position by Tony there, and Tony just chucks it up and scores a really nice goal from underneath the cork. Even though that's close, that's one of the most difficult shots because you are so close and almost under the cork to squeeze it up around the top.
You don't appreciate just how tall that post is until you're right underneath it.
Decent structure from Tornadoes. They've got a reset, which is great. Another 25 seconds. Great work from Aisha. Neela Brennan makes it back just in time. So I think that's probably our first defended call. And what the referee is saying there is saying that the defender got back in time to be within arm's distance, between them and the attacker and the post, trying to block the ball, and the defender, so the attacker shot when they shouldn't from a defending position, so you give the ball back. Sam Brooks. Nice. Now he's the sort of player, if you leave him alone to get his 2 feet on the floor, he's going to kill them. And this is a bit worrying for Tornadoes. It's a really great start from Trojans. So they scored 10 minutes. Trojans are on target for a 40-goal game at the moment, Jess.
At the moment, I think there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of build-up. From speaking to some of the players before the match for Trojans, again the ones in the black and the dark blue.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of preparation to get ready for these games. So we shouldn't be surprised that there's a lot of goals at the start.
And our referee, Aziz Ziba, calling a charge on Trojans, as I think they were pushing through the players. You have to respect if someone's standing and they take a charge, someone runs into them, then the referee's going to give that. So it's a very difficult skill to master as a defender, but an important one that all these players have got to a certain extent. Oh, nice ball. Probably a little bit slippy on the sponsors' hoarding sometimes. Can be. Sam Brooks mishandles uncharacteristically, plays a nice ball to...
Only 4 seconds remaining on the shot clock, so again they were trying to engineer a situation where they could take a shot to try and reset it, but unfortunately it didn't come off. But again, Trojans are so experienced that now they're just going to come together and they're just going to talk about it. Try and think, right, what are we going to do next time? Why didn't that work?
And Tornadoes were trying to move the ball around the outside, but Dave Brooks a little bit too clever there. Now, I've got a feeling that Tornadoes were just going to move it around and just maybe have a look. And sometimes it's just better to be a bit more direct than they were doing. But what it sometimes does is just pulls your defenders out. But didn't work for them that time. Now we're into the stuff. So holding the ball in that position is called a feed, and that was what Catherine Goodrich was doing. Amy Turner shoots, and it doesn't go in. Now they're going to set up another feed and post combination where they shoot and move a little bit quickly in order to do that. And that's a mistake from Trojans there. Uncharacteristic. Allows Shane Buckland for Tornadoes to get an easy collection, bring the ball back out. Owen Bailey. Oh, he gets hot.
Tornadoes, which again are the team with the ball right now, they tend to play a more fluid style than, say, maybe Trojans. Trojans have got some key players that they will go to again and again and again, knowing they know their percentages, they know how many shots they need to take to convert. Tornadoes are a more fluid team, I would say. They don't necessarily keep going to the same player over and over. So it will be interesting to see how they try to get themselves out of this 5-goal deficit.
And that's a free pass, and in the free pass, oh, beautiful, gets the ball back. So they got their ball given to them and a free pass from an infringement, but you have to pass it and you have to move in order to get it back. That free pass line is 2.5 meters away, So that shot was probably out, probably about 4 metres. We've seen our first substitution. Is that Dan Brown coming on?
It is. We should mention that actually we have a rolling subs policy in Korfball now. You can have 8 reversible subs, is it, Tom?
It is 8, for sure. And that was a great innovation to the game. It allows us, it's a tactical change, bringing on a little bit of height, and we'll talk about that when we get back down the other end. Nice from Tony.
That's
great
lovely.
from Tony. Tony Woodvine, Trojans.
So here's the idea of the reversible sub. So number 11 for Tornadoes has just come off from one end, and he's about to be, here we go.
Yeah.
He's about to be subbed on to the other end. So you're not restricted as to which division you can play with. He's now playing with a completely different set of players.
So I suppose we haven't actually mentioned that. There is a halfway line, and you start either in attack or defence, and every 2 goals you switch over.
Yeah.
So that means you could be like the best attacker in the world. Oh, nice from Jay Buchan. Round, and he is one of the great attackers, and that's called a penalty. Gets a little clip on the way round. But you're going to have to defend in 2 goals' time.
Yeah, and this is where we talk about it being a real balancing act in Korfball. Everything tries to be equal. So men, women, they shoot the same amounts. They do all the same kinds of things. And again, oh, now that is an interesting call.
And Dan's moved the ball.
So the referee had blown the whistle for the penalty to be taken, and unfortunately Dan Brown was still bouncing the ball. So quite right, Johnny Nickerson, the Trojans player, was able to encroach on the space and defend him, because once the ball's been moved, it's come out of his hands. Unfortunately, he was bouncing it.
That is what we call in the trade a rookie mistake. And I hope they don't get punished too badly for that, because they're not playing too badly. They just need to get going, Jess.
Yeah, but as I was saying, you need to be able to do all the skills. So yeah, as you said, you could be a great attacker, but if you're really, really slow in defence and you can't keep up with your player, you're not going to be an asset to your team.
Super sub, Dan Brown, almost out from the sideline, drops one down.
Great shot from Dan. So let's see what he does in
good
defence
balance.
now.
Look at that good fight at the post, all legal. All good fun at the post there, on that little bit of control contact that they've got. Trojans straight into them. This is called a 2-2 setup, where they've got like a feeder collector, 2 players outside.
Lovely.
And Amy Turner drops on down. High fives with her teammate, Catherine Goodrich.
Amy Turner, one of the players that we pointed out, she's really dynamic. When she gets going, she is a great player. She scored the winning goal in the final last year, so crucial then. Let's not forget that the winning team, not necessarily of this match, but the winning team here will play in the final tomorrow night, which again will be live on BBC, so you could come and join us for that one as well.
That's one of the best moves you are ever going to see from Zach Catterall.
The shot clock had gone. Not enough time.
Which is a real shame. We're not going to see a replay of that, but that was beautiful. It's a lot about the subtlety of Korfball is about deception. I'm going to shoot from the outside. Please come over and defend me. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to go inside and take a higher percentage shot, a more exciting shot. Oh, look at that, like driving in there. Looks like the defender. Refs calling a lot of these as penalties. Perhaps in another game there might not be, but it's good. He's calling exactly the same both ways. So teams don't mind that. There's a lot of... like in any sport, the referee sets his stall out as to what he's going to say and what he's going to call. But at the moment, he's called quite a lot in both directions. Probably Trojans just fancied and favoured it just a little bit more.
Let's not forget these players know each other inside out. Not only do they, play each other twice a year in the regular season, but they've been doing that for a good. That's a beautiful shot.
Oh my! Shane Buckland turns out.
He's fired up now.
He turns up again, turns it round, drops it down.
But as I was saying, these players, they know each other so well. Not only do they, some of these players have played together for England, so they know each other through that. Everybody socialises. At the, once the final whistle goes, they're all friends again. There's none of that. Oh, I can't talk to you because you're not in my team. It's a very sociable sport, so they actually are friends off the pitch.
And Buckland breezes around again. He just can't get the ball out, and he's just saying he couldn't get the ball through because it was fouled.
So we're starting to see a bit of talk from the players to the referee. That's allowed to a certain extent. The referees are very understanding that you get frustrated. You can't not. You're playing at this level, at this intensity. It's a semi-final. Let's not forget.
Yeah, and you look at, there's no harm in telling the referee a little bit about what you think, and it looks like that's not going to be a timeout. They're calling play on.
I think there will be a substitution, but it'll be on the next whistle.
And that's a little bit desperate from Shane, trying to get something going. And they're 5 down. Okay, so still not a big deal. So it looks like we are going to see that substitution now.
And as you can see here, the referee's just having a word with Shane. Shane's just been letting him know that maybe he's not necessarily happy with all of the decisions. So the referee's just reminding him, look, I am in control of this game. I'm just not seeing what it is that you're seeing. And just giving him a friendly little reminder.
Yeah, and that's Alex Richardson coming on.
Elise Sparks has left the pitch for now.
Trojans deciding to just work it around the outside, and then Dave Brooks comes in, gives that feed. Good combination between the boys, the girls, trying to give some support in the feed. Nice fluid movement, and they're into that 2-2 setup, and there's the master, Dave Brooks. Beautiful shot, well collected. That is a really good korfball phase. That's what everyone looks to try and do, is create a good opportunity as easily as possible, and then if it doesn't go in, you want to hit the korf, reset the shot clock, and the girls just picking themselves up now. And this is a nice attack. They've already had 2 shots. They're moving it very fluently. They're taking up nice structures, and they just run another way, uncharacteristically. And you can see, so Tornadoes have decided to go in and get an early post position with Dan, and I think they realise they're going to have to be a bit more direct. We tend to use that term for when someone, look, they get a collecting early and they say, look, shoot as early as possible.
That shot was under a lot of pressure, but again, Dave Brooks showing that you can shoot from all over. He was right on the sideline there for that shot.
And nice balance, and look at how far he is out there, and have dropped it down.
This is where you can probably notice the difference in techniques when people are shooting at different distances. So some of the girls, probably to try and generate the power from further out, they'll probably tend to shoot off of 2 feet. The boys, because they've got this really big step back and they're really strong in their legs, they might tend to shoot off of 1 foot. Again, it's all about generating that space, so they'll tend to kind of take 2 steps as they're moving backwards and then shoot.
Although as the sport has moved forward, we're less tied down to classical techniques. It really is about a player's body and the way they like to shoot. And now coaches, they used to really correct players a lot in the early days and say, no, you have to shoot this way. And now we allow players to develop their own technique and their own style, because they keep up coming up and surprising us in the way, the creativity of the different subtle styles of shot that they use.
And you'll see that particularly in the running in shots. So again, that's the kind of layup type shot when people are driving in on the inside. Everybody seems to have a different technique for how to get that ball into that basket, but it doesn't matter. Yeah,
and that's interesting. The referee has called Trojans for travelling, which means that if you come to a stop with the ball and then you take another little step.
So effectively footwork in netball. Taking that extra step one too many.
Oh, beautiful turn out of the feed for Maisha, drives it down. Good girl, go get it.
Yeah, so that move has worked quite a few times for Tornadoes at the
They've got
moment.
3 goals out of it. 3 goals out of 9 is not bad. Trojans going to have to sharpen up a little bit on that. Okay, boy into the post, girl in the feed, out to Sam Brooks, decent shot, great shot. Yeah, this is really, Sam Brooks, when he's got that space, his shooting percentage is incredible.
Well, we're up to a 6-goal margin now.
Which is still, not
completely.
So even if they could get some more and Tornadoes can go in at half-time, rally and regroup and win the second half. But, it's coming back to this, Trojans are great in the dying minutes. It really pays to be ahead before you get there. But, Tornadoes won't be daunted by this. They will keep going strong. They've got the younger legs and probably lots of desire. But I tell you what, look at the desire there from Neela Brennan, and a beautiful floating away shot that she did, which was really close to way. You can see how close it was, the way it bounces out of the korf like that.
You can also see then just how much pressure Aisha Chowdhury was trying to put on that shot. Occasionally you'll notice the defenders might jump to try and actively block the shot. If they are successful, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. We might call it a blam, because it's a korfball friendly term. It doesn't necessarily mean it'll be a defended shot. Again, you could see Catherine Brooks just jumping slightly then to try and put extra pressure, shoot over my hand.
So once again, this is a free pass. It's Eleanor Parker for Tornadoes. She's got a foot behind a line that you probably can't see because it is like subtly coloured. Normally it's a little bit darker than that. Referee, can you see the width of the base there? That's to hold up the post which it's so tall. Eleanor's going to pass it off to the side, take a little step back normally. And if Catherine comes too strong, Eleanor will move inside. That's a nice tip from Shane Buckland, but it falls nicely to the hands of Trojans.
And you might think, oh, if you're not that tall, maybe you should always jump to try and make it harder on the shot. But actually, obviously, as soon as you leave the floor, it's a lot easier for that player to come around you. And the sport is so fast-paced and everybody else in your division is moving. You run the risk that there's likely to be somebody free.
In particular in Korfball, where the spaces are so short, if you can get your player in the air, you can go do something really nasty to them whilst they're waiting to come back down. That's Aisha's pressuring Neela Brennan out a long way. Oh,
That's
nice ball to Tony. He normally scores that one when Dave gives it to him so perfectly. Decent play from Trojans. They're looking good for the lead, though, Jess.
They are at the moment. But I still won't count off this young Tornado side.
Oh, yeah,
Love the relaxed shot, Helena Parker.
Count off this young Tornado side. Because when you're young, you don't care. Like 5 goals down doesn't matter. In fact, most of us, we'd still be playing very hard at the moment because the 5 goals is not enough to anywhere think about winning this game. Boys combining well. Nice position from Hannah Goodridge. But Tony turns that feed down and they look to sloppily move around the outside. They want the girls on the inside. They want the girls driving. And that is wonderful from Hannah Goodridge. And he's called that defended, I think. Oh, no, he hasn't.
No,
I just saw his hand motion. So she got onto the inside. Once you get to the inside, and there's a penalty as well, once you get on the inside, the defender rule disappears. And you can be as close as you want, but you've got to be between them and the post. And you can take a wonderful looking, what we call a running in shot like that. Too easy for Dave Brooks. Nice setup for Amy Turner to take a shot. I tell you what, I don't think there's any stopping these at the moment. Tornadoes, as we count down towards half-time, Tornadoes are going to have to do something special in the coaching and tactical department, aren't they, at half-time? They're 7 goals down. I'm not writing them off, but they've got a lot of work to do because Trojans are playing really well at the moment.
And it's not even necessarily scoring the goals, because I've no doubt that Tornadoes can score 7 goals in the bounce, but to then expect them to stop Trojans from scoring in that time, it is a challenge.
But they can do it, and they're pushing the back on the girl at the post, brings them a free pass, and Owen Bailey, nice, comfortable, beautiful shot. So there's a start. Now they're only 6 behind. If they get a stop here, then maybe they can get to 5 behind, which is more than decent.
Now Hannah Goodridge will take that feed position. Neela Brennan will receive it on the outside, but not look to shoot. Work herself into a better position to take the long shot.
And that's a foul coming over the top. And the referee quite rightly adjudging, if you're leaving your player to go and foul someone else's personal opponent, your player is free, and he's going to go, okay, no, let's have a penalty. Taken by the master, Dave Brooks, who's already had a big impact on this game in attack and defence, but that's what he does, and that's let's say one of the most loved Korfballers in the sport.
Oh, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. Shane Buckland, who's one of the most feared and respected young players coming up. Still growing, still getting bigger. A lot of talk of him going to play in the Dutch Korfball League, which is like the equivalent of the Dutch. It's the equivalent of like the basketball NBA. And as we count down, have you enjoyed the half, Jess?
Yeah, an interesting first half. I think it'll be interesting to hear what the Tornadoes coach Dave Buckland will have to say to his players to try and that's a lovely finish from Tony Woodbine.
Now that's a classical goal, and we'll look at it as we go through on replay. He shows the shot on the outside. Looks like we're not going to get that because it's just going to be the end of the half. Shows the shot on the outside, drives to the inside, and really what a wonderful first half of Korfball. And I think, have you enjoyed that? It's been
a great first half. Be interesting to see how Tornadoes will come out in the second half, and if Trojans can just carry on being as dominant as they are.
Okay, and so we're going to go and cut to Adam, I think, our pitch side reporter, as we prepare to have a little chat in the studio. Take it away, Adam.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, really excited down here. We've got Sal. He's a big Trojans fan.
Yeah, obviously. 11 years on the trot, so I was supporting them.
11 years on the trot, going for their 12th. Do you think they've got this game sewn up, Sal?
Yeah, pretty much.
And over here we've got Esther and we've got Kira. Guys, how are you enjoying the game?
I'm really enjoying it. I hope Tornadoes can pull back. I really want them to win. They really deserve it.
And Esther, what do you think? Kira, sorry, what do you think the final score is going to be?
Well, I hope we win, and hopefully we can get through.
Awesome. Esther, who is your favourite player for Tornadoes?
Oh, it's difficult to say. I don't know all of them, but Shane and Alex, they coached our Kent team, and I know Ashley and Eleanor, and I was mascot for Elise. So there's a bunch of them that I really know and like. So.
Amazing. Sal, what's your favourite thing about the atmosphere here today?
I'm just loving it. I love every decision that's made by the referees. The crowd gets really involved. Everyone's supporting Tornadoes, it seems. So every penalty given against them, everyone starts giving the ref a bit of stick, but it's lovely.
Nice. Right, back to Tom in the studio.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Good to see lots of excitement and good young players enjoying the game over there. Steph, that was an interesting half. Really enjoyed it. Some great goals, lots of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, 19 goals in the first half. I mean, that is
Wow.
a huge tally. And as you saw, they're coming from all over the pitch, from both sides of the court, and from the men and the women. And I think that 19 goals for Trojans, they'll be very happy with that.
And they've got to be happy. They're playing well, Jess, aren't they?
They are. It's really fluid. They're scoring their shots, which I think typically they're very nervous. You'd expect them to be nervous, but the fact that they are converting them, they're playing really well. They're really taking control of this game. You just hope that Tornadoes are gonna come out and just start riling them up. And
Well, I mean, really, Trojans have won it 11 times. We're really excited about Tornadoes because of the great league season they had and the way they played last year, and we respect some of the young players. But they have to do something really special, don't they? And it hasn't quite worked completely for them. Steph, what do they need to do in terms of their style? I mean, what are you seeing? How would you describe the style they're playing?
Well, I mean, certainly one of the things they need to cut down on is the amount of fouls they're giving away. 6 or 7 of those 19 are going straight to the penalty spot, and they're getting absolutely punished there. And they actually have the game, to win it. They've got the fluidity, they've got the style, but they can't get punished in the way that they are. So I'd probably say, they need to back off a little bit, make Trojans score the good goals rather than taking it into 2.5 metres and an easy penalty.
I think we saw this last year where the referees, they all get together, they all set out their standard, and they're going to say, if the player is coming around you for the running in shot, you've got to be clean. Leave them clean, don't touch them, I'm going to give that penalty. Tornadoes didn't learn that lesson. They had a couple of warnings early on, and they didn't do it, Jess, and that's a good point, Steph. So, in terms of the outside play that they're doing, attacking-wise, who are you seeing is playing well for them?
Well, in terms of, I think Shane's still having a really great game, and actually, their boys are playing really nicely. Their girls probably are a little bit behind in the goal scoring rate compared to Trojans, where they've had Amy Turner, Neela Brennan picking up quite a few goals already. But they've shown with Eleanor Parker, she will pick up a few goals, and they need to keep playing through that and just cut down the defensive errors, and they will be well in the game. But 20 goals to concede from their point of view is a long chase to go for a win.
It just makes it harder for them to get back. I still think that they can do it. I still think that they are in good shape. And the atmosphere in here is incredible, isn't it? It's really like you can hear the horns and whatever. How was it playing out there last year? Did it make a difference? Because they don't look nervous. They're looking pretty
No,
distracted.
they look pretty relaxed, and I'd probably say that the experience of playing last year will have helped them this year, but that's the same for both teams. But the experience probably is paying out at the moment, but the second half, that's where the youth will really push through. They've got the fitness, they've got the speed, and they need a few early goals and they're back in the game.
Okay, so I think we're going to go and have a look at some videotape on trying Korfball. We're going to talk about trying Korfball, which is very great. Thank you, our producer. So you started as a junior, which was fantastic, but we both started you started at 18 and 19?
Yeah, I mean, I started at university, so I was quite late into the game.
Yeah. How did that affect, you think, because we have habits that we bring into the sport, but generally Korfball is a very welcoming of that. And how did you feel when you first started? Were people supportive of you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very inclusive game, and you can see from the fact that it's men and women, but not just that if you look into the crowds, it's families, it's young children, students. These are the growth areas of Korfball, and these are what get the people involved. So absolutely, it's the sport that's sort of very inclusive.
And so when people are looking at these, this is the elite end of the sport. and they're frowning at each other a lot, and there's not so much friendliness going on there, but there's no animosity.
No.
What's it normally like, Jess? I mean, when you join as a beginner, how does it feel?
Oh, people are very approachable, very friendly, very understanding. We've all been there. Let's not forget, this isn't a sport that you come to knowing everything. Everybody has been that new person going into that sports hall for the first time going, I have no idea what front defence is. I have no idea what a collect is.
I saw it on the BBC and I wanted to give it a go.
Exactly. And that's what we should do. So don't forget, get in touch with us on social media. Reach out to us. We're on Twitter. Find us at England Korfball, all one word. Use the hashtag Korfball Finals. Send us some information. Are you a korfballer? Are you watching us? Are you loving this? Watching it on the BBC? Why aren't you here? Who are you supporting? What do you think is going to happen? And if you're new to korfball, you can get involved. Again, tweet us, send us some information about yourself. Are you watching it for the first time? Is this new to you? What have we not covered that actually you're watching and thinking, what are they doing? You can find out more. England Korfball have been sending out in the last few weeks a lot of korfball facts and a lot of korfball rules. I believe they've been using the hashtag Korfball Rules. So again, look it up at England Korfball. Send us your thoughts, and if you're lucky, we might read some of them out maybe later, just after the second half.
Yeah, and so looking forward to the second half. I think we've already said that Tornadoes have got a lot to do. What do you expect from Trojans? They're just going to put their foot on the throat now and kick these kids down, or...
Yeah, they will want another 20 goals, to be brutally honest. They will go for that, and they will keep the pressure on. And defensively, they will make sure that they're not going to start leaking goals themselves. So they will keep a nice, tight defence going and then keep shooting on the outside. And Dave Brooks is getting only into his flow right now. I've seen him take 3 or 4 long shots. He's looking very fluid, and I can see another 3 or 4 really great goals coming from him today.
Well, we say korfball's a friendly sport, but you're not going to see much sympathy out there from Trojans with these young players. But let's look for Tornadoes to get the first 2 goals. We like to look at goals in these chunks because it's the way that we turn over. They get the first goal, they get the second goal. I think it could worry Trojans a little bit, but they just have to up their game. I'm looking for Shane Buckland, I'm looking for Eleanor Parker to come out. Aisha Chowdhury, I really love what she's doing in defence. Some of their big players come up big, they've got a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, they'll just have a few really big goals for them, and that will lift their whole team. And, that is what they've got. They've got the drive, the youth and experience from international level, from under-23s. They will push forward. They're not going to give up back there. They're going to keep going at Trojans, and it's up to Trojans to keep their cool as well. But I have no doubt that the second half will be really tight.
Well, talking about keeping his cool, I think we're going to go to our pitchside reporter, Adam Wade, who's found some more people to talk to.
Hi Tom, I'm here with Lorraine, a big Trojans fan, a Trojans legend. Lorraine, how have you enjoyed that first half?
Amazing. I must admit, it's not as close as I thought it would be, but Trojans are showing that, they are champions for a reason. 11 years in a row, and all the experience they've gained playing out of the UK, in the Europa Cup, it's showing. So, control is theirs. Let's hope they can maintain it in the second half.
Absolutely. And how are you finding the atmosphere here in the Copper Box?
Well, I must admit, I've been to the Dutch finals and the atmosphere is amazing. Here's my first time and I'm pleasantly surprised how good it is here. And you can get it going. You can feel the energy. It's great. So tomorrow's going to be even more amazing.
So you're putting Trojans in the final already?
Of course. You've got to believe in your team. Half of it is believing in yourself and also in your team. And they're already halfway there. So maintain it, and that's what it's about, not getting overconfident, and it's about maintaining the lead and play as a team. So for me, they're final.
Awesome. Thank you very much for speaking to me. I'll pass back to Tom and Jess in the commentary box.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Adam, and it's good to see a couple of my old England teammates there together. Jess, you don't know this, so just as we're waiting for these guys to get going, with the 20th anniversary of the last bronze medal that we won, and there's at least 12 of the squad in this hall today, so we're going to have a little bit of a reunion as Tornadoes set about this mighty task they've got of eating back these 8 goals. There we go, but they're going to have to do a little bit better at the post against Dave Brooks.
So I expect, Dave Buckland, he might not have been quite so calm in the team talk at that half-time. But that's what he needs, actually. He needs to fire this team up. He needs to make sure that, and let's face it, they're not going to give up easy. Some people might think, well, actually, it's over. It definitely isn't, and they are going to come out fighting.
I think as Steph Watson quite rightly said in the studio, that nice ball on the inside, is they're going to have to be a little bit more clever and give a few less penalties away.
But I'd like to see them take a few risks now. I mean, it is 8 goals, so that is a healthy margin. It's definitely not over, but it is a healthy margin. So I would like to see them. Oh, that's a massive charge.
Shane would perhaps like to probably say that he was going to stop before he got to Sam, and Sam had actually moved forward by the time the contact had come.
So again, that was deemed a hard foul. So again, we talked about controlled contact. Yeah. That wasn't so controlled. Yeah. It was the stopping of
and the loss of a scoring opportunity brings up another penalty for Trojans. Tornadoes stroking the ball around the outside. Now they're looking to get into the feed. Oh, beautiful little flick back to Aisha, and the shot wasn't great, but I've really liked what Aisha Chowdhury's done in the first half.
It's a great handoff from Zach Cattrall. It came out the back of his hand. That was a lovely pass.
Yeah, so that's kind of hopefully building into some of these wow moments that we're promising you, and that's a really good recovery from Tornadoes. Got back in between them and the post by the time the shot was taken, and that's really well done. Difficult to do, very well done though.
And again, if you are watching this sport for the first time, and it potentially could look quite brutal, because this is the highest level in this country. These are two teams that have finished 1st and 4th in our league, and they are competing to get into the final tomorrow. And it's not just winning that final tomorrow makes them the winner of the English League. It also means they get to go and represent their club and play in Europe.
In the Europa Cup, which is a wonderful experience.
Against all the other European leagues, the winners.
Equivalent of the Champions League, which is on tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll be watching that. I'm glad that you're staying with our broadcast and hopefully enjoying it and learning something about Korfball and admiring some of the great action from these players. There's another semi-final coming up later today, which once again is going to be finished before the Champions Trophy, so you don't have to worry about that. And tomorrow the grand final's coming up as well. There was a little bit of a weak shot from Tornadoes. Johnny Nickerson, 2 feet on the floor. Wasn't a great shot, but well picked up on the inside by Amy Turner. She throws it out from the interception. So the court is 40 metres by 40 metres. And you'll see that the post is set in 2/3 of the way into the half. So that's about 7 metres, 6 2/3 metres that you've got to play with at the back. And most teams that are skilled, they will use that in particular to be very dangerous, switching the focus of defenders. Oh, nice. Dave falls over. Owen and Zach combined to get a shot, but they just can't finish it off.
Now, there was a decision a few moments ago that you might have missed or might have been confused. It was a football, so again, it's a completely different sport, so we don't allow the ball to hit players' feet. The ball will be turned over.
Tony Woodvine overcommitting, and then the shot easily won by Dave Brooks. And then now the referee's decided he's going to have to get a little bit of a hold of Tornadoes. They seem to be doing a lot of complaining. I feel that they're on the wrong side of a few of these decisions, and the referee just taking a moment just to say, hey, look, that's enough. Look to see yellow and red cards come out if that sort of things continue. And nice swooping move from Catherine Goodrich, but she misses the easy running in shot. So
that's not typical to see her miss that kind of shot. That is her bread and butter.
Catherine Brooks, she got married to, and she just passes to her husband there, and that's a poor combination between the married couple.
But that is the beauty of this sport. They met each other through Korfball. Steph Watson, who we were talking to earlier, she's a married lady. I'm married. I've married another Korfball player. It's a great way to meet people.
Yeah.
That's
it's come up too
really
short.
Long shot throwing.
Dave Brooks thought he'd got it clean. Now, if Dave has got this ball and got in there before, but maybe he's touched the player on the inside as well, and the referee's calling his penalty, so he's given that one again.
But again, maybe this is how Tornadoes make the comeback. You know, if they draw all the fouls, bring Trojans onto them, then...
Well, you know, sometimes in tough games, anything, you can use anything to spark yourselves up. Sometimes you have to get lucky. Sometimes get a couple of penalties working for you. And I'd say that probably was a penalty, so I'm not even saying that was lucky. But if Tornadoes can get a little bit of luck, shot clock still running, so they're going to have to go with it. And he's just called Dave for charging into his player as he moved away there. So that's Dave from Trojans, Dave Brooks. And now the referee's just going to bring someone on. No, he's...
No, I think Zach Catterall just suffered a dead leg from when Dave Brooks almost landed on him. The crowd just getting behind Tornadoes. Yes, that's a lovely goal from
Eleanor Parker.
I mean, we should mention Eleanor Parker is the top female goal scorer of the National League and has been for this season and previous season.
Right, nice technique she's got. She's still young. Is she 17, 18?
Yeah, she's still playing in the under-19s for sure.
She's going to be a great talent for English Korfball.
Oh, definitely.
Great collection from Zach Catterall. So that makes a big difference to the way that you play. And Shane Buckland, there you said, taking chances.
Yeah.
And he's trying to take some chances to get the ball on the inside and to try and do something spectacular. No shame in that. They need something to spark them up. Nice ball over to Brooks. He's going to, oh, wow, that's a really bad shot by his standards.
It's a great interception by Johnny Nicholson.
So it's a little bit sloppy from Tornadoes, but I think they're a little bit...
I think they're rushing slightly, is that fair to say?
They're trying to get something going and it's just not coming for them. Their coach, Dave Buckland's up to have a little bit of a chat with the end that's off camera at the moment. Nice work from Tony. He's unstoppable. He's on this form. So we'll see on the replay. He gets the ball back and he takes this step back as he goes, and it's a really flowing step back. And if the player was anywhere close to start with, he certainly wasn't at the end of that shot. And that's when the defender decision counts. Is at the end of the movement as the ball leaves your hands. Tony, well in the clear there, scored a really nice goal. Decent shot from Owen. He's going to jump out and bring that one back in as he does very athletically to the appreciation of our crowd. Zach Catterall, decent shot. No, but it's scrappy. Look, they've lost their structure.
Yeah.
Dave Brooks coming in to pick it off just a little bit too easily. Johnny Nicholson. Oh, God.
How did he get round?
So there is the in Korfball. You show the outside shot and take it and score it or not. But once you get your player overcommitting, you can drive what we call around, get on the inside. Sometimes it takes one or two steps, just as Johnny did there, and he's earned the penalty and scored it.
So Aisha Chowdhury now taking that feed position. Owen Bailey will shoot on the outside.
It looks like he's snatching his shot just a little bit.
I would say that. It's not. It doesn't look like his typical flowing shot.
Yeah, and it's looking. Dave Brooks is dominating him on the inside in collect as well, so they're going to need to do something.
So Trojans just taking their time, passing the ball around, setting up for that's a lovely ball from Catherine Brooks, and that's the kind of thing that you won't necessarily see in other sports. I think netball you won't see this. It's all about having that, and it's such a hard thing to teach.
Yeah.
This is what really separates these players from the lower ends of the England Korfball League is that vision, is the ability to pick somebody out and make that pass.
Oh, and another penalty again. Is he giving that against Tony Woodvine?
Timeout for Tornadoes then.
So, Jess, I always do this to you because you're a great coach, and I say, what would you be saying to them?
Yeah.
Look, they're 9 goals behind against 11-time champions.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy position to be in.
Yeah.
But no, I think Dave just needs to. I think they need to reset themselves. I feel like they've worked themselves, and I think they've got stuck in this rut of passing the ball off too. I know we're trying to talk about Korfball as a very dynamic, very fast-moving sport, but actually sometimes holding that ball can really pay dividends and actually expose where the players are overcommitting or where the weaknesses are. I think they just need to hold it a little bit longer. There's been a lot of loose passes that have been intercepted.
Yeah, and okay, so I'm going to say that Tornado's going to struggle to get back into this, and we're just going to see how they're going to go. But they get one back. So I have seen bigger comebacks, but it is going to be difficult for them now. And maybe it might just free them up a little bit. So you can go two ways. You can either just stop kind of caring and start shooting with more freedom, or you can stop caring and start losing the ball. And unfortunately, they stopped caring and started losing the ball initially. If they can settle down, then that will be, let's say, challenging for Trojans just to hold on. And he's called out a travel on Dave Brooks, and
who's not happy and is...
He's not happy. He's walked away with the ball, and he's going to get a yellow card for talking to the referee. And I'm not quite sure. I think there's probably Tornadoes fans who are giving those big cheers, and they've appreciated that. Eleanor Parker holding the feed, girls on the inside. He's called a foul against the Trojans girl who's trying to break him down. So the optimal collecting position is when you're on the inside of the post and your player's behind you. Shane Buckland gets it back, pulls it up into a nice shooting position, but the ball comes back low.
And you might wonder, why would your defender let you take up that position? Because if the ball was to find its way into you, you'd be able to shoot because you wouldn't be defended. But typically, they want to then prevent you from having a feed. So they won't let you then step forward. So they will let you have that post position. So
if we look at the tactical defensive style, just to come up on your point there, is that so they're playing probably always. So Owen Bailey is trying to challenge him at the post and to make it difficult for him, but he's not taking any risks.
No, he's letting him have that position.
Yeah,
making sure that they can't pass it on the inside to Dave to shoot.
It's kind of like an interception defense where they're saying, we're not going to make it so easy for you to pass the ball around, in particular passing it to the inside, which is where the danger is against a good Korfball team. Oh, good driving from the girls. Dan's held it well. Is Shane holding off a dynamic collect? He seemed to be just a little bit inactive there. Now he's got his time. Shows the inside, moves to the outside. Johnny Nicholson's come a long way, and he just about got it.
See there, Johnny Nicholson won the ball off the girls, but obviously the ball was in the air, so he is allowed to challenge the girls. So again, you will see that boys and girls stealing the ball from each other, but obviously not directly.
Yeah, so we can challenge each other all over the court, but except for when we are shooting, where the referee will generally call a penalty if a boy defends a girl, if a girl defends a boy. Dave Brooks gets another penalty and tucks it away.
I think the referee has deemed that the game has almost started to turn a corner, and a lot of the decisions now are going straight to that penalty spot.
Shane Buckland, quite a high feed, a long way out, which is not the best sort of feed. You generally want your feed a little bit closer. Shane is looking a little bit down as he missed that shot, but now it's good to see him. The team are rallying round.
So at the moment, that Tornadoes division, they've gone very route one. They're really heavily relying on Shane taking that shot, but I'd like to see them having a stoppage in play. I think Owen's just been hit in the eye, I think.
Yeah, which there's a few injuries which are common in Korfball. I mean, it's not a sport where you get particularly injured, but you'll probably agree that ankles and knees are probably the most challenged.
Well, just for the speed and the dynamicism of the sport, that's to be expected.
And then occasionally, because our hands do go a little bit close to each other's faces, sometimes you might get a hand in the face, but I've never seen anyone significantly injured from it. Tony, a little bit too easy. Owen Bailey stands there and with his arms hanging out, but he's just not close enough there. So that's a very great typical modern defended shot, well, non-defended shot, where the defender's trying to claim to be in arm's distance and the referee going, no, you're not. And so taking a very literal interpretation of it.
So we're almost halfway through the second half, Tom. It'll be really interesting to see what Dave Buckland's approach is now. At some point, you'd like to think, I mean, look, they're 10 goals down. I don't think a comeback is possible at this stage. So how important is winning the third-fourth playoff tomorrow?
So the losers will go through to a third-fourth playoff, and the winners will go through to the grand final.
We can't forget that.
I don't think Dave Buckland, he's a competitor. He's got over 100 caps, probably England's most capped player. He doesn't care about third or fourth.
No.
He's just hoping for a spark or something to pick his team up. And this is actually looks like he's going to bring on Alex Derham, which is a really nice little attacking player. She is. He doesn't care about third or fourth. It's about winning for him, and he's always been like that. And then you've got to admire and respect that. Oh, great! And Owen Bailey breezes around Dave Brooks, draws another penalty, and looks like Alex Derham is going to come on for. It is Ashley Warner, and what's Alex going to bring to the game?
Oh, she's a great little player. I mean, just missed that penalty, drop short. Alex is going to bring, I mean, she's fresh legs. I mean, she's very dynamic. She's got a great pass. She can sling that ball around. So, yeah, I think she's going to be a great addition to this division.
And Trojans, nice ball tempo, keeping it moving on the outside. Well done by Shane Buckland, gets in and makes the interception. One thing you say about Shane Buckland, he is the coach's son, Dave Buckland, but he is probably the most talented up-and-coming player that we've got, and a lot of people would put him in the first 4 boys in England, which is what constitutes a team. And Dave Brooks overcommitting.
We'll just take the time to make sure that Owen's all right. I think he's just winded.
Yeah, it did look like he did take a sharp hit in the stomach there, and I think that is just winded, either from the contact or from the fall on the floor. And the referee's just going to bring on Dave just to have a check, and we'll have a look on the replay here. Okay, Owen's got the ball, and he's just pulled Dave on. And look, so
Dave's shoulders.
It's a wonderful fake that he's done, and that for me is the essence of Korfball and the subtlety in it. And his players just kept on coming. He stood tall, took the charge for the team, and normally they give him a little bit of extra time if he's a penalty taker.
Well, yeah.
But the clock is stopped anyway. We've got 15 minutes 50 to go, so we will hopefully give the young lad the respect he needs just to give the time to get back together to take this penalty. And chucks it away very nicely. Back to 9. Still grimacing as he put that in from the shoulder that he got in the stomach. Johnny Nickerson coming in to get the collect, and now we've got nice attack from Amy Turner on the outside. Now wonderful block there from the defender. And that's what you're looking to do, because you can't stop all these shots going up, and sometimes you can't be, no,
if that had gone in,
that would have been a wow moment.
That's a piece of.
But coming back to, so we will try and block shots, so you don't just really rely on the defended rule, because you actually see how many defended calls has there been? There's been 3 or 4 throughout the whole game. It's not given that much. It's just to stop players getting lazy. So generally you're going to try and block that ball and make someone scared that when they shoot, the ball's going to bounce back in their face, which does happen occasionally. It's not very nice to see, but it does happen. Good contest at the post, well won by John Nixon. Immediately turns around, does the underhand little scoop. Dan Brown.
Athleticism on show there for both players.
And look, he just not defending, he just was out of position. That's a good John Nickerson goal. And
that's what he contributes to this team. He rebounds so well, is so dominant in that collect position, but he does need to be able to score around that post.
Oh, what a beautiful move from Shane Buckland. He's just pulled Sam Brooks onto him. Sam went through looking at telltale, hands behind his back. If you see a break, hands behind his back, it means he's probably done it.
I didn't touch him.
Yeah, but he definitely clipped him there. Great move from Buckland. Brennan, Brooks, Woodvine. And they're going to start enjoying this now. They're going to start stroking the ball around. Look, he's got him going in the air. Now he's got 3. And he's called a free pass. I'd probably might have given that one a penalty.
He was quite in a goal-scoring position for it to be a penalty.
There was a feed there behind him. Anyway. Oh, nice. He goes on the inside. Misses the shot. Very, very difficult shot under that sort of pressure. But when you're going to pass it out to Dave Brooks and he got his shot.
Can't drop off Dave from that distance.
You can see the difference in the player percentage when they've got pressure, when they haven't, and that's like Dave Brooks. Really, if 2 defenders have to start paying attention to one of the attackers, it leaves the other one free. And Dave Brooks really isn't the one that you want to leave free. And that's great feedback. Lovely ball back from Alex Derham.
Yep, she read that really well.
Yeah. So this is a great combination. You can see Alex Derham just coming. She's just got the ball, flipped it back. Great combination, very good finish, as we said. That's really hard from the post there. Nice passing from Sam Brooks. As I say, look, Trojans look like they're enjoying this, and Shane Buckland with under 13 minutes to go, he's realising they're going to have to take a bit more risk, get the ball back and see if they can't get a few goals back.
That was more of a controlled shot there from Owen Bailey.
And Alex's first shot wasn't a bad one.
Goes back under. Which is where he had so much success last year. Now, we haven't seen much of this in this game. Again, he makes the move as if he's going to take a long shot, but then tries to come back under.
Yeah, Dave has stepped. And that was the goal, the move that got all the goals from last year. Owen Bailey did a great job on Dave Brooks. One of the best jobs I think I've ever seen on Dave Brooks. And that was the move that got him there. So Owen having a good game was just... I think they've been a bit outclassed, though. Look,
Yeah.
come on, Tornadoes, come back. It's only 8 goals. Make a fool of me. And
Did you speak to Corinne Buckland, who is the assistant coach of Tornadoes earlier? Did she talk about the preparation that they've had going into this match?
It seemed like they'd really had a lot, and they had some Kent semi-finals and finals, which you have to wonder about what the quality is like. But there are a lot of really decent teams in that
they were
Kent
playing
competition.
against Kingfisher, another team in the National League, so it would have been a very good final.
And Beerston, Bobby Cave. Beautiful, great ball in. Catherine Goodrich couldn't keep her hand out of the cookie jar there, just fouled Eleanor Parker. Now that's the type of korfball I like to see. And when Jess was saying, I like to see them take more risk, that's the sort of risk that they're looking to do to try and make a decisive ball, flipping on the inside.
And you'll notice that wasn't as structured, so there wasn't a collect, there wasn't necessarily a feed position. They did all of that from the outside of the post, which I think, is they're going to have to go a bit more route 2. As you can see now, the setup that they've got now, this is typical attacking style korfball.
And a wonderful one-handed shot from Tony. He did get fouled on the way round, so he gets the ball from the feed position, just sidesteps one of the girls, rolls it off his fingers, scores a beautiful goal.
Alex Derham just left there to drive straight through, but definitely contacted.
Okay, I thought some of the penalties that the referee gave in the first half were a little bit dubious. These are raw penalties. This is desperation time from Tornadoes. They're throwing themselves on the line to try and keep from Trojans. They're throwing themselves on the line. Look at that.
Catherine's running into the space where Alex is already occupied, forcing her out the way.
Owen Bailey does a good job to tuck this away. And that's probably the closest it's been for a while, 7 goals. Decent scoring game.
Yeah. We did say we were hoping to see upwards of 40 goals, and we've already massively surpassed that.
Yeah. So. And there's still plenty more to come, it looks like.
It's still 10 minutes of this match. There's going to be a lot more goals.
That's what I was saying about Tornadoes coach Dave Buckland. It's about winning. He's not going to take these guys off and save them.
If that stat's correct, Owen Bailey's on 9 goals.
Wow.
I'd love to know how many of those were penalties. But he's had a good game, but he's still been outshined by Trojans' dominance.
Yeah. But as they're saying, their coach is about winning. He doesn't care about a third or fourth.
No.
He wants to see how far they can push Trojans. Maybe Trojans let up a little bit. They're not known to do it in the past, but you never know. And back to 7. Wow, yeah, that was a beautiful move. And
Eleanor Parker looking for what we term the reverse blam. So the players got past her and she thought, I might just be able to put my hand in there and block the ball.
Probably the most stylish defensive move you can ever pull off is...
If you can pull it off, which is very rare.
The reverse block, where you get over the top of someone and knock them down.
Though having said that, I have seen Steph Watson, and it is on YouTube if you want to go and find it. Steph Watson has done the most amazing reverse blam that I've ever seen.
Well, that's good. And that's Johnny Nixon, 9 goals, but I know a lot of them were penalties.
Shane Buckland just making eye contact with both assistant coach and head coach of his team, which happened to be his mum and dad.
For such a young man, he's got a great 1,000-yard stare. He really has.
It's like, Mum, please.
Yeah, no action on the Tornadoes bench. So it looks like coach is going to leave these players out there. And it's all great experience for them.
We should mention that these teams have finished 1st and 4th in the regular season, which is why they're playing against each other at the moment. There will be a match coming up in just a bit, which you can join our coverage, which starts at 6:30, kick-off at 7 o'clock. Will be another semi-final between the teams that finished 2nd and 3rd in the regular season, and that is a team called Beck from, funnily enough, London, Tooting Beck, and a team from Norwich called Norwich Knights. And that match, again, we're expecting to be really close.
Going to be a fantastic
really
game. So yeah, I think we're going to be on air from 20 to 7, and then live with the game from 7 o'clock. In the meantime, we missed some really good action. So please send us your questions on social media. Is there something about the game that is difficult to understand that's making it hard? And we'll really do our best to answer them either in this broadcast or in the next one when we come up. Tony Woodfine.
Or even tomorrow. Don't forget, we've got the grand final tomorrow.
The grand final.
Again, that starts at 3 o'clock. You can join us for that. So please do. And again, send us your questions. If you think, I really liked watching that player for Trojans, but I wanted to ask them about this situation, send us your questions and we'll try and put them to them before the match.
Yeah, nice from Eleanor Parker, and it looks like he's called encroachment.
again.
So, will he take a free pass? Everyone has to stay out, and if the defence move in, then you can give them one chance to do it. Wonderful shot from Eleanor Parker. Nice little roll off the fingers. Difficult shot to execute.
Yeah.
As
I
she
think in
moves
this
forward.
league, Eleanor Parker has got the best and the most clinical free pass I think I've seen.
But she's got one girl coming from one side, one girl coming from behind, because they know her reputation anyway. And that's a little bit, I'm going to say too easy for Dave Brooks, but he doesn't normally miss too many of those when he has that much time and space.
We're into the last 7 minutes, and it is a 7-goal swing at the moment. The girls looking to attack on the outside. Eleanor Parker wanting to drive back in, but not quite getting the ball there. Not quite reading each other, which is what they do so well throughout the regular season. But at the moment, I don't know if it's the occasion, or, I mean, let's not face, they are playing against Trojans, who are so clinical, and they're just not connecting with each other on the same wavelength that Trojans are.
Yeah, now, you see this tactic, Tornadoes boys are just dropping off. They're allowing the shots to go up now because they want to try and steal the rebound and get the ball back.
We're just going to pause the game just so that we can realign the post.
Which occasionally happens.
Moved from its original position and not facing the correct way, which we like to make sure it is.
So 6 minutes more for Tornadoes on the big stage to show us what they're all about.
Yeah.
I still think they've got a couple more goals in them, but fair play to Trojans. I really like what they're doing. I would say workmanlike and workwomanlike, Jess, on their part. They've come here and they didn't really give Tornadoes a sniff of the game.
No. I mean, we have still got 6 minutes, but the goals have started to dry up a little bit. I mean, we were thinking that this might reach a, Trojans might even go on to reach 40 goals themselves. But at the moment, they're hovering around the 30 mark.
And a wonderful turn and one-handed shot with a little shove in the back that she gets. Yeah, that wasn't defended. Draws a penalty, which Dan Brown, the substitute, who's established himself now, is going to just tuck away quite nicely. Okay, so they're back to 6. Yeah, did I speak too soon, Jess?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe. I hope so. Let's see.
We wrote them off at half-time, Tom, but you know what? It's certainly not over. It's a great drive in on the inside from Amy Turner, which is what she's so good at doing.
Yeah, and quite right. So it's quite last-ditch defending here from Tornadoes. They are just throwing themselves in the line. I think they've run out of ideas of how to stop this great Trojans team.
Well, it's not easy.
Oh, okay, unlucky Owen Bay didn't get the ball back there, but that's sloppy from Alex Derham. And great to see Trojans down the attack. Give us the ball. We still got some scoring to do in these last 4 minutes.
Johnny Nicholson on his 10th goal of the match.
A lot of penalties, but still, credit. You've got to put them away after his nightmare last year. After he's happy to have a good day at the penalty office.
So again, Catherine Brooks here, not afraid to just hold the ball, tell the boys what she wants to set up. And that's what makes Trojans such a good team. They're willing. They've got leaders on the pitch.
Because the girls call the shots a lot of time. They read the game sometimes a lot better than the boys that Trojans got, although they do have a lot of experience. But I think what Trojans get so right is this team has a lot of respect for each other. Boys, girls, young, tall, old, whatever, it doesn't matter. They trust each other and they work for each other, and it isn't necessarily about who scores the goals, but none of them will shirk their responsibility, because Korfball is a game where everybody shoots and everybody scores. Yeah. And if you don't like shooting, if you don't enjoy the feeling of scoring, you're probably not going to enjoy Korfball that much, because you want to get out there and do it. There are roles for people that don't shoot so much, but then the defence can actually adapt to you and make what you felt was a strength and liability. So everybody should look to score, and that's what I like about Trojans, is they're all eager and they're all ready to take their responsibility, just as Amy Turner drops it in from the outside, brings it to 8 as the game switch over again. Beautiful, nice, easy action she's got.
Technique. great extension in her shot as well. She's a two-footed shooter, but she really works hard to generate that space before she can put those 2 feet together to take that shot.
Yeah, good collection from Shane Buckland. Good challenge at the post. Nice from Dan
Nice
Brown.
goal from
Good to
Dan
see him still celebrating. Yeah, they know that they've lost this one, but it's a chance for them to just get more experience. Enjoy this game. They'll be back next year, absolutely certainly. They'll be playing here in the third or fourth game, which I don't think we're televising tomorrow. So it's probably the last of us we're going to see them on the BBC. But look, they've had a decent game. So what are your thoughts about the way that Tornadoes have played?
They've played well. They've stuck to their style, which is a true testament to what they've come here to do. They've played fast, dynamic, flowing korfball. Like we said, Trojans necessarily have key players that they'll set up to go to attack through, whereas Tornadoes, they will try and just get the ball through everyone's hands, make sure that everyone's playing their roles, but they'll change those roles so frequently. So it is great that we've seen that they've stuck to that. They haven't given up. They've still scored 23 goals against a team that have had an unbeaten season.
But when I look at a goal like that, and no disrespect to Zach Catterall, he's a really good, young, decent player, but a lot of that is experience. And I think that's what it's come down to today. The experience of on the big stage of Trojans, of all those finals, semi-finals and finals that they played in.
And playing in Europe.
And they've really been really good in Europe over the last couple of years, and I think that's made the difference. And they're looking like a really good unit. And
they're looking really clinical.
So they haven't used any subs. They haven't needed to use any subs. And I'd imagine that we're probably going to see the same team coming out tomorrow in the final. So just a reminder that the other semi-final against Beck and Norwich Knights is coming up at 7 p.m. UK time. And we're probably going to be on air from 20 minutes before, trying to give you some insight with that. Be joined again by Steph Watson.
Don't forget, you can get in touch with us on social media. Twitter is our main platform, but we're also on Facebook, we're also on Instagram. You can find us there. Typically, we use the handle @EnglandKorfball. Don't forget to send us your tweets. Let us know, what did you think of the match? Why, what tactics did you see them employing? Do you need to find out what clubs are in your area? Don't forget, you can visit the englandkorfball.co.uk website, and there is a find a local club finder on that website.
And I'm sure if you tweet or Facebook message and say, I'm interested in maybe just going on to a beginner session,
Yeah, there are so many schemes out there for people to get involved. Just turn up. Don't be afraid to walk into that sports and just say, I'm new.
And we've got so many great coaches that are waiting to help you to enjoy the game. Bring your brother, bring your sister down. That's the beauty of korfball, is the whole family can bring your parents. That actually does happen. It's quite often we get to see a young kid gets into the game and they like their mum and dad come down and they go, actually, you can play along with us as well. And as the seconds wind down, I mean, I've enjoyed the game. I'm disappointed Tornadoes' challenge didn't last a little bit longer, but fair play to Trojans, Jess.
I'm just looking forward to seeing what Trojans can do in the final. Are they going to make it 12 years in a row?
Okay, and then as the final buzzer goes, Trojans worthy winners. They go forward to play the winners of Beck versus Norwich Knights. As I said, it's coming up. And last word about Tornadoes. What are they going to do now? Obviously, they've got this third and fourth player. If it doesn't, they'll play it, and they'll play it with spirit and heart. What are they going to have to do to come back next year and compete a bit better?
I don't think there's necessarily something that they're missing. They just need that experience. They just need that time to get this, take this on, embrace it. I know it's horrible, but you've just got to take it on the chin. They'll need to watch this match back. What were the differences? What were the key moments, which hopefully we're going to talk about in a moment with some of the players.
Okay, so thanks very much for joining us here on our first ever Korfball broadcast on the BBC. Don't forget at 7 p.m. later on today we've got the other semi-final, and then come back at from 3 o'clock for 3:30 p.m. tomorrow for the grand final here, coming from the Copper Box Arena in East London. My name's Tom Brady. I'm with Jess Beale, Jess Davies. Thank you very much. Say goodbye, Jess.
Thanks everyone. Hope you've enjoyed it, and again, reach out to us on Twitter.
Okay, and so we're just going to go over to my friend Adam, who's hopefully been enjoying himself in the crowd as the game's been going along.
Hey Tom, absolutely. I'm here with Darius and Natalie. Natalie, that was your first time in the Copper Box today. First time watching Korfball. How have you found it?
I've absolutely loved it today. It's been a great experience. It's been a new experience for a brand new sport I've only recently heard of because of my nephew Darius.
Awesome. Yeah, really good. And Darius, your first time watching Trojans play in a live game. How have you found that?
It's been incredible, actually, just seeing like a level of Korfball I've not been able to play myself, but it gives me something to aim for. Yeah.
For sure. And have you enjoyed the atmosphere here today?
It's been brilliant. We've had fans from teams like Manchester Warriors and the Highbury Ultras with their own songs, and it's all been really organised, really well done.
Yeah, nice. And coming back tomorrow for the final, yeah?
Yes, yeah, I'm definitely. Wouldn't miss it.
Awesome. Right, back to you, Tom and Jess, in the studio.
A good time down there. We're joined in the studio by a slightly disappointed looking Eleanor Parker. Eleanor, talk us through how you saw the game.
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I think we played really well, but yeah, like unfortunately it didn't go our way this time. So, yeah.
What was the difference between the teams? It looks like you played solid Korfball and you moved it quite well. There was a lot of penalties. Broke up the game a little bit.
Yeah, I think they got a lot more penalties than we did, which means a lot more goals. So therefore, they obviously are going to win if they get more goals. So
yeah. So what does this mean for you guys now? I know you got third or fourth tomorrow. Sometimes it's a really difficult game to play. Can you get up for it?
Yeah, I think we'll be more ready for it tomorrow. Losing this game will make us want to win it tomorrow more. So yeah, hopefully it will go our way this time.
And then next season you're going to have to go back because you're still young. Sorry, how old are you?
I'm 18.
So you're only 18. Yeah. So you're at the beginning of your career.
Yeah.
Had an opportunity for the last 2 years to play on the big pitch.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a good game, but yeah, unfortunately we didn't win. So.
Okay, Eleanor, thank you very much.
Okay.
And all the best to you. We're being joined by the winning captain, my friend Dave Brooks.
Hi.
Dave looking as good as ever. Me and Jess in commentary were talking up Tornado to try and give them a chance, but you guys did it too strong.
I think we said before the game we played against Tornadoes. Obviously they drew with us and we beat them this season. So this for us was, we wanted to put that right in our heads as well. We said we're the more experienced team. I feel, although they're a very talented team, easily could win the weekend, I believe.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd get control of the game. We did that quite early on. I think it was really important that we scored our penalties today. I think there was a lot of penalties. I lost count actually.
Yeah, well, and when Johnny missed his first penalty, were you thinking about last year?
I wasn't thinking. I was just hoping that he'd score. I had faith that he'd score. I've got no problem with Johnny and his penalties.
No one's got a problem with Johnny, and he did really well. Tactically, what was the difference between the teams? I know you use the experience, but what is that to the player?
I felt that we kept the tempo like at our pace, what we're comfortable with. I think our girls really stepped up in the first half. They really dominated. I thought particularly Amy Turner had a fantastic game. I think down that end particularly, she was the difference to me. She stood out to me. I'm very proud of Amy today, and hopefully she'll play like that tomorrow. That's such a strength to have in your team.
Yeah. So how much has this taken out of you as a team? You're very experienced, but how do you now go home, prepare? What is the journey that you will go on mentally to get ready for that final tomorrow?
I think, me personally, I think as a team, what we try and do, we go away, we reflect on perhaps some of the lessons of today's game, things like penalties, not arguing with the referee, and maybe improving on that for tomorrow. And then coming out fresh, it's a new team. We'll be looking forward to see who wins this game. We'll be thinking about that as well, who we're going to play against.
Will you all be sticking around to watch it?
I'm going to watch the first half, see how it goes. If it's a close game, I'll stick to the end.
Okay, so you picked up a yellow card. I hope you're not carrying one into this, Dave. You're not a dirty player.
No, I think...
When was the last card you got?
A long time ago, maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. I think it was more frustration, the occasion as well. Obviously, it got the crowd, alive, and the atmosphere was electric today. I had a really fun game actually, and obviously the yellow card is part of the game. I think part of being competitive. It shows that the game means so much to us.
Quite right. Well, thank you very much, Dave, and we wish you the best of luck for tomorrow's final.
Thank you. You've made another final. Respect to you, brother.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Give us a show.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
So, just a reminder about all our social media channels out there. We are waiting to hear, do you want to play Korfball? What do you think? What didn't we understand? I'm with one of my best friends, Jess, and we're doing our best to try and explain it to you, but if we're not getting it right, we want you to tell us, because we want you to enjoy the game. You don't have to go play, but we want you to love it just a little bit as much as us. Jess, the last words for you.
I hope you can see what Korfball can bring to you. You've seen these players are actually friends off the pitch as well as on it, so why not get involved? Again, get in touch on social media, and hopefully we'll see you for the next semi-final in just a bit.
Okay, see you soon.